So what if the specifications of the Galaxy S23 Ultra were not necessarily all brand new? As yes, new reports claim that even if one of the cameras of the Galaxy S23 Ultra will be crazy good, that might be the only one. Apple just went crazy with its new MacBook Pro lineup in addition to a very good Mac Mini update. And if you thought the traditional HomePod was dead, it seems that Apple just sort of proved otherwise. I'm Jaime Rivera, and right about now is when Apple announces things that really make a dent on my wallet. This is Pocketnow Daily. The official news today begin with Apple and a couple of announcements that happened yesterday and even today. And as we reported, there was no event, just videos. Let's start with everything on the new Macs, which began with the M2 Pro and M2 Max chips, which bring more cores and add support for more memory in addition to more connectivity. The M2 Pro is built on a second generation 5nm node, has support for up to 32 gigs of unified memory, and features 40 billion transistors, which is 20% more than its predecessor. The M2 Pro also features up to 12 CPU cores, of which 8 are high-performance cores, or at least up to 19 GPU cores. The results for this showed 20% more CPU performance and 30% more GPU performance over the M1 Pro. Now, on the other hand, if we switch to the more powerful M2 Max, that one comes with 67 billion transistors, supports up to 96 gigs of unified memory running at 400 gigabits per second, which is twice as fast as the M2 Pro. The CPU has the same 12-core version of the M2 Pro, but then the GPU is twice the size with up to 38 cores. Both new chips share some hardware. For example, both use 16-core neural engine capabilities with up to 15.8 TOPS, which is 40% faster than the previous generation. And as for the new products, well, an updated MacBook Pro at 14 and 16 inches, which is pretty much the same design as 2021, but with new horsepower, HDMI 2.1, and the latest Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Maybe the most important change was the M2 Mac Mini that is now more powerful and less expensive than before, and then the announcement of the perfect tool for creators, which is the M2 Pro Mac Mini, which brings more connectivity and obviously more horsepower on a tiny package. Now, if you ask me, I think the M2 Mac Mini is the sweet spot because upgrading my current M1 Pro to the new ones is just out of the question with how low Apple's trade-in deals have become. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, as for what got announced today, would you look at that? Apple just announced a new HomePod. Yes, many thought the HomePod Mini came to rescue just how bad things were with the original. I think Apple got the hint that it was just too much of an expensive walled garden, and that's what we can expect with the new one. So it's slightly smaller and lighter than the previous model, now with a $299 price tag, which is still a bit high, but it is what it is. S7 chip powering the show for computational audio and the U1 chip for ultra-wideband features, in addition to temperature and humidity sensors that'll be enabled on the Mini with a software update, by the way. Now, as for the sound, we have a 4-inch high excursion woofer, 5 tweeters, 4 microphones, support for spatial audio with Dolby Atmos, and you can pair with another new HomePod for stereo because, yeah, it won't pair with the old HomePod. So yeah, if you're doing the math, it's a slightly smaller price tag, but with less tweeters and an Apple Watch chip instead of an iPhone chip. Regardless, it can still serve as your home hub and seems just as smart as the Mini in every other way, which is a good thing. Pre-orders begin today with delivery planned for February 3rd, and it just shows how powerful the Apple Watch chip is. Moving on, let's talk about Samsung and the announcement of their 200 megapixel sensor for, well, of course, the Galaxy S23 Ultra. We've been covering rumors on it for a bit, and as expected, it's going official right before Unpacked. This new ISOCELL HP2 has a 1.13-inch size with 0.6 micron pixels and comes with brand new technology for expanding the dynamic range and enhanced color reproduction. Samsung also added its latest pixel binning technology called Tetra 2 Pixel that adds more versatility to the camera as it simulates different pixel sizes to accommodate varying lighting levels, giving it better performance in low-lit environments. This HP2 is also the first sensor that employs Samsung's dual slope gain feature in 50 megapixel mode. Xiaomi claims that it brings super HDR performance, meaning that it can capture the 2 exposures, avoiding the risk of detail loss in conventional HDR mode. In addition, it also brings Smart ISO Pro, which is an HDR solution that merges different levels of ISO for a single exposure, enabling the camera to take 4K HDR videos at 60 frames per second. Now, what's odd is that even though this is a new sensor with so many megapixels, it still is smaller than what's currently on the iPhone 14 Pro, so let's see how it competes in the end. And finally, for the hottest news today, let's continue talking about Samsung since we have the full specifications of the upcoming Galaxy S23 Ultra. Sort of. Obviously, we already covered the new camera sensors, so just keep in mind that that's just part of the show, but obviously there are more cameras along with that 200 megapixel ISOCELL HP2. The only catch is that it seems that the others won't necessarily change. It seems this phone will stick to the same ultra-wide 3x and 10x telephoto units from the S22 Ultra, though we're not exactly sure if it's up to the sensor level. As we already know, it'll be powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 that you will be able to pair with up to 1 terabyte of storage and up to 12 gigs of RAM. But what's weird is that the listing shows LPDDR5 instead of LPDDR5X, which is the newer technology. The screen will be a 6.8-inch 2x dynamic AMOLED with 1440p resolution, and protecting it we have Gorilla Glass Victus 2. The S23 Ultra will stick to the same 5000 mAh battery with the same 45-watt charging of its predecessor, and finally Samsung will announce all of these new models on February 1st in its Unpacked event. But prepare because, well, it seems that other rumors claim that the $1,200 price tag might get a bit more expensive, at least by $100. In today's question, let us know, what would you like to see on the Galaxy S23 Ultra? Because in my case, what I want is better video quality, which I feel Android phones still cannot be on par with iPhones, but that's just me. Leave us a comment down below, we'd love to know your opinion. Friends, again, if you want to get the news earlier, follow us on PocketNow.com and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. You can also follow us on social media, our extended coverage happens on Instagram, and follow me on my personal handles to see me debate the obvious when it comes to Apple products. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.